dude, this was crazy. He said open world is still planned. I don't know how he gets away saying that in 2024, dude. There's no way. There's no way, dude. Streets has been out.
You're joking!
Street.
You're joking!
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam, and I'm excited for Veritas' 9-hour flat Earth documentary.
8.
I know.
8.
It just keeps going.
Well, now it's done.
Oh.
And even though I've had 5 separate, very strong urges to add, I make the mistake of like, I'm still up to date, keeping up with some of the debates and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to put that in, and I just have to resist the urge. It's done. It's 7 hours and 44 minutes.
Oh.
The update on when it's going to be released is my guy who handles some of my business stuff is in talks with a couple of brands to try to get me a sponsor deal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that going last minute. I would like to have some amount of like...
Yeah, which is like, worth waiting a week, a few days, whatever you need to. Like,
yeah,
you ran the marathon, you know what I mean? You ran the 28 miles. It's like, it's worth it to secure some bands, as the kids would say.
Yeah. So yeah, 7 hours, 44 minutes. I'm so fucking ready for it to be out there, dude. Yeah. It's like the weight is on my shoulders until it's out. For sure.
Until you hit publish, it's just sits
because my mind is still going, right? I'm like going back and forth on titles, on thumbnails. I think what we talked about.
Yeah.
I think I'm settled. Asterisk.
Yeah.
I'm settled on that. We'll see. And I did manage to successfully. It took me about 4 hours. But I did manage to successfully split up the video into, I'm so glad it came out to be exactly 50 parts, which makes me very happy. It's 50 videos that are all about like 9, almost just under 10 minutes.
Jeez.
And what I focused on was, originally I made it so that it was like somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes in that range for each of the sections. And I cut it when I was like fading in between parts. But then I found out when I went to go upload, like to look at the interface for TikTok, because I haven't uploaded really. I've only done it a couple times.
Yeah.
It was like up to 10 minutes, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I had to start over.
Yeah.
Then I have like a 15-minute and a 15-minute and a 17-minute. It's like, great. Now I got to split this up into like 2 and a change. So I did that. What I focused on. And I'm glad I thought of this is I'm pretty sure with TikTok, it defaults to whatever the first frame is kind of like the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So what I did was I tried to cut it where the first frame was like either someone's face up close or like a cool picture of the earth or like
something engaging.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be...
Dude, I want so badly for like parts 7, 15, and 37 to just like rocket ship to the moon. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that'll be the case because there are some where it's like this has a 6-minute hilarious montage of them like being bad at geometry, like math, and just being like embarrassingly stupid, and like that'll do better than 10 minutes of me talking about the philosophy of science or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. Dude, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. It's gonna take me a long time to get through it, but I'm so stoked. Somebody was like, you should do a watch party of Veritas' video. I was like, dude, that would be my whole stream. I don't even stream for 8 hours.
I was like, I don't know that I would subject him to that because I did a watch party with my patrons. It was like literally 7 people.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 hours of, and what I was doing was pulling up the chapters. I was like, every time I was like, watching it.
Oh yeah.
Mental note, I'd hover over the video, get the timestamp, type out what I would think. So I was doing the chapters. There's like 85 fucking chapters.
Oh my God.
I almost never do anything in my description on my YouTube videos. It's usually like, here's my Spotify link, here's my Patreon link. But like, I'm not the type of person that like does paragraphs. I hit the character limit on the description because of the chapters.
I didn't even know there was a character limit on the description.
I hit it, brother.
5,000 characters. Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. It's literally.
Oh my God, that's so.
And you know what the best part is? The best part. If I add like an ad here that's like 1 minute and 7 seconds, I need to now update all of these fucking timestamps to be +1 minute.
Oh.
I'm Chat GPT. I'm going to say, this is what I'm doing. Please, can you just give me this list exactly formatted this way? Plus 1 minute and 3 for each of the things, please. Yeah. I'm going to spot check like 4 of them and I'll be done.
Yeah, that's actually smart. I would have not thought about that and just did it all. Did the math for them all. Holy cow. Oh man. Well, that's sick. I'm pumped. I know that it's only a fraction of the excitement that you've got, and it's more than excitement for you. It's actually like get it done. Get the job done. You know what I mean? So that's that's crazy. That is crazy. Well, outside of that, obviously the big news is we got a Tarkov TV podcast today, this morning, which is why we're doing this on Friday as opposed to Thursday, because obviously there's been lots of just Tarkov conversations over the past month since the Unheard and everything went down, and then what we've been talking about recently is like how seemingly responsive they've been to the community, and they're trying a bunch of things we've asked them to try, and they're doing a bunch of things we've asked them to do, and so this Tarkov TV was very much so like an extension of that, like a continuation of that, which I was very interested in. I really couldn't tell if it was going to go the direction of they were going to be like, all right, playtime's over, you know what I mean? We're back to making our game, or if they were going to be like, let's keep doing it. Let's keep rolling with it. And it was very much so that they didn't really address any of the drama or anything. They kind of did a little bit at the end, but they just ripped into it and did their thing. So this was honestly one of the most densely full of like noteworthy, as in literally I took notes. Like normally I went back and found the last podcast summary that I did from the last Tarkov TV, which that Tarkov TV was about the December wipe, which brought us new recoil vaulting. Like it was one of the most prominent wipes of all time. And that video was like 8 minutes long, 8 minutes and 7 seconds. And the podcast summary I did for this was 17 minutes. And it's just me literally reading this note that I did. So it was pretty dense, densely packed with information and stuff. So we can hop right in. The biggest thing they talked about up top is Arena. They spent a lot of time talking about Arena. And dude, so like they've been doing some of remember like last week we talked about some of the leaks, like Nikki leaks. Basically, he's been going back and doing that and like tweeting screenshots of stuff, and he tweeted like the mortar strike stuff, and he's been back on that grind. And there have been a few things this past week since the last episode where like yesterday I was like, something clicked and I was like, I think I know what's happening here. I think they're gonna make a lot of the new cool stuff in Tarkov just locked behind playing Arena. Like I think they're just gonna funnel us in. And they are. They are. So basically, like the first thing he said about, I wish you could hear him say, like, I wish you could see the video. But he was like, the first thing they said about Arena was, he was like, it was something to the effect of like, listen, the whole like esport thing was kind of an afterthought. We had always wanted Arena to be a part of the game and to be a thing, which was just so funny because I understand that. Like they have, like there were old pages and like forum posts and blog posts where they were talking about Arena in 2015, 2016, but they leaned so hard into the esports thing at the end that
I think it was like because it was hype for the initial release.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the thing was originally, remember, like, now once again, I don't care. I don't hold this against them. But the original timeline was Arena was going to be just a part of the main game. And then when they started developing it, they were like, we're splitting it and it's going to be a separate game, but EOD owners get it for free. And we were like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I remember that was news when news that was breaking. That was like, oh, we're going to have to pay for Arena if you don't have EOD. But then that last year, that last like year-long lead up, 8 month to a year-long lead up to Arena, it was so esports focused. It's going to be esports. It's going to have high-tech servers. We got the Veritas Pro guys. We're running tournaments at TwitchCon. And so it was just funny that they were like, everything they talked about Arena was like, had nothing to do with rank, had nothing to do with esports, had nothing to do with tournaments. It was all just like, we wanted them to be kind of the same game, see? And it just felt kind of like the esports thing didn't work out, so let's try.
Well, I mean, when I talked to Nikita after I had made the massive improvements video, actually, after I made the first one, before the second one, Nikita basically said, like, none of what he said had to do with really, nothing what he said indicated that esports was, like, the important thing.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
What he said was, I want you to be able to have a more casual experience, to have fun and get better at Tarkov with low stakes and have fun. Remember when he said that?
Yes, I do. I
had the fucking audio file that I played.
You put it in the video, yeah.
And that was him basically being like, yeah, no, esports is not the focus.
That's right.
I want you to have fun, get in a game quick, play, and be able to get better with the mechanics of the game.
Yeah. Well, listen, I say all that. I say what I say to find it interesting because it, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like they're pivoting. But whether they are or they aren't, like you were saying, maybe this really was the plan all along. I think
the esports was the pivot.
Yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe that's what happened, was it actually, the esports thing was the pivot, and they just leaned into it too hard, and to a lot of people, the esports became the thing, not the pivot, and now this seems like the pivot, when this is just like, oh man, we shouldn't have gone into that too hard. Yeah. Let's go back to the original design. And I'm super down to say that's a possibility, and that may be what's happening. But let's talk about some of the stuff. So, they're adding, I'm just going to send you as we go, like pictures in the Discord. Any one thing you can pull up if you want, but you don't have to. A lot of it you won't need to, but just like, because like a lot of people have seen, that's Ref, that's the new trader. That's the, what does he look like? The UFC guy or whatever. I forget his name. Dana White.
Joe Rogan?
Eddie White. No, sorry. The guy that owns it. I don't remember his name.
Oh, I know.
Dana White or whatever.
Dana White.
Yeah.
He does look like Dana White. I mean, they're all just like bald.
Yes. Bald, jacked, angry dudes. Yes. So that's Ref. And that is the new trader that will be like the cornerstone of the linkage between Escape from Tarkov Arena and Escape from Tarkov. He will be who you use to trade, to like send money back and forth, to send gear back and forth. And he also has a store. Like he is a trader in he's going to be a trader in Tarkov with like stuff to buy. But the thing is the stuff that you buy from him costs GP coins, it looks like. There have been some interesting things where like some of the GP coins seemed like they were like stacks of 30. I thought I saw a picture where like in someone's stash, there was like a stack of 30 GP coins. So I don't know, but GP coins are like the currency, which makes sense. GP coins were originally added to the game as kind of a callback to contract wars and that kind of stuff. And then in Arena, isn't the rank called GP or something?
The gear points. That's like the
yeah,
gear
yeah.
score.
So anyways, so that's all linked. But it looks like the everything he sells will be basically barters for various different levels of GP coins, and there's going to be special stuff. He's going to have new clothing, so new cosmetics that you get by playing Arena and, you know, getting to a certain rank or unlocking certain quests, and then you get new cosmetics. So that'll be I think that's a cool thing. I think that's you see somebody in that, you know, top and bottom drip and you're like, oh, they're a beast at Arena. You know what I mean? Like I think that kind of linkage stuff is really cool. He's going to, so this is where stuff gets really interesting with actually how it transitions into Tarkov. He will sell special keys that are only obtainable from him that unlock doors in Tarkov. So you have to play Arena and complete quests in Arena to get the currency to get a thing from him in the Tarkov side to unlock certain doors. And let me show you another picture, actually, because this kind of shows it. One of the new currencies that...
Tell me more.
I was wondering what you were doing.
What's the matter?
Dude, the audio listeners are missing out, bro. Are missing out.
Yeah, sorry.
Veritas
sorry, guys.
is puppeteering this Joe Rogan, Dana White ref trader in Photoshop. And it's... Make it a little bigger and you get the Thanos chin. Yeah, okay. All right. Well...
Sorry, so what were you saying?
So I was saying that I forget.
You were going to send another picture.
I could tell you were doing something.
Sorry, I was, yeah.
No, I love it. So GP coins you can get obviously in Tarkov and also use them to barter with him. But there's a new currency. I forget what they called them, like marks. What did I say?
Dogecoin.
Doge. God, what if? They're like legendary marks or something. It's some new form of currency that is, once again, only obtainable in Arena. And then he showed that picture. So the picture is of the Voron key. That key is purchased via this like new legendary Arena mark. That Arena mark is only attainable in Arena. And then it's only attainable in Arena, but then spending it on that key only gives you a benefit in Tarkov because the locked door is in Tarkov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and so that's like a fascinating, crossover between the two games. Like he said that the rooms are going to be like gladiator, because it's like they call the people that fight in the arena gladiators, but they're not actually gladiators, so not like Roman stuff. But it's basically going to be like stashes of weapons and stuff from people that fight in arena, but in Tarkov. But you get the thing in the arena. I don't know. That stuff is honestly kind of cool to me, so I don't mind it. I think it's kind of dope. But that's part of it. There's going to be arena only quests, obviously, like dailies and weeklies, and I think just like proper quests
in Arena,
yeah, from Ref. So when you open up Arena, I think the only trader is Ref, and he'll do quests. Gotcha. Like it kind of look like it's more than just like a daily, like 3 dailies and a weekly from Ref. Like there might actually be quest lines, like not a ton, but you know, yeah, dude, a battle pass, 100%. Then they showed off these interesting looking things. They kind of look like, okay, so they kind of look like loot boxes. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you tell me.
No, there's no way.
You tell me.
Fucking testicular fortitude.
The testicular fortitude. Look at it. Zoom in on it. Show it to the people.
Fuck off, bro.
Tell me what that, like, you know what I mean?
Is it this thing?
It's both of them. There's multiple different types. That's one, and then the purple one.
I mean, could they just be cases?
Yeah, but
it says weapon
no,
junk.
No. So what we know about them is that, and the reason I can tell you, is while I stall and send you this picture, you get those. I don't know if it's by completing quests in Arena or by purchasing them with Arena currency, but either way, you then have to take them to your hideout in Tarkov, put them through a craft in your workbench to unlock them. So those are not just cases with skins. Those are like you have to open them and get the loot that's inside.
So it's
kind of like a loot box.
It's loot boxes with a bunch of extra fucking annoying steps
yeah,
in between.
Loot boxes with a 5-minute craft associated.
So okay. So here's the relevant piece of information here is there any possible way now or in the future that you could, whether it's in-game or using third-party websites, spend real money to get these? It will happen if that's a thing.
I mean, RMT forum, hundo P. They said,
unless you can't transfer it
correct,
at all.
Yeah, which actually might be another thing. So they said later in the show that they have no plans to monetize Tarkov in any way other than what they've already done. But as you pointed out oh so clearly, is that they also said in the past they had no plans to ever monetize Tarkov anyway past EOD. And here we are with Arena being a separate game mode, the Unheard Edition, microtransactions for stash lines, microtransactions for clothing. So, I don't know. But they said they weren't. So, take it however you want to. But, so those are, I don't want to jump too far off the loot box bridge with those things because do you remember, I can't remember if you were playing during this event. Do you remember the event where we were finding, they were called secured weapons cases, and it looked like a weapons case, and we were finding them in raids, but we couldn't open them in raid. And then when we got out of the raid, we could open them, and the weapons case disappeared, and then like it was just a bunch of loot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming, I would have to assume that that's kind of what that was testing, right? Is like these things, these like little boxes of loot. And so I think they are loot boxes, but I don't think that it's going to be like, you know, you have a 0.01% chance to pull, you know, 100 Bitcoin or whatever, and you can buy these for $9.99 for 10 of them. You know, I don't think, I really, even through everything they've done, I don't think it's going to go there. If you, not you, but if you, the viewer, are worried it will go there, I can align with that worry, but I don't think it's going to go that far. But
here's what I have to say about it.
They look
and hopefully this works.
Saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." You fool me, we can't get fooled again. There's an old
fool me once, shame on you, can't get fooled again.
Fool me, you can't get fooled again. That's my message to Nikita. Okay.
Oh, won't get fooled again.
Fool me once, comrade.
Well, okay. So that's the little loot box thing. I don't understand what it means yet, but we don't have information on what this looks like. But fully redesigning the preset system and adding custom presets, you will be able to use not only your gear from Tarkov, but like your character. Like, you know how like each of the presets is like, this one's a scav, this one's a bear, this one's a USEC. Like you'll be able to use your character, maybe wearing your clothes, your cosmetics, and you'll be able to use your gear. So
wait, where? What do you mean?
In Arena.
In Arena, okay. So when you say gear, you mean like clothing?
No, I mean like you can send an SR25 from your stash to the thing and then use that
as like a kit every game.
Yeah. Once again, this is where like the extent of the information we have is fully redesigned, and just a confirmation that we can use our own gear. That those are the questions, right? If I send an SR25 to Arena, what? What?
Somebody in chat.
What did I miss?
Oh, you just said it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I forgot about it. I'm crying.
What did I miss?
Dude.
I believe that man and fish can coexist peacefully. What is that quote from?
That's something that Bush said.
Oh,
I'm
classic.
pretty sure, right? I believe that man and fish could coexist peacefully. I'm sorry, it's just the fucking stupidest thing.
That's great. Now watch this drive.
Oh god, I couldn't hold it in. I tried. I couldn't.
Damn,
I'm sorry,
dude.
I'm so being so distracted today. I'm like the trouble kid in class.
That's okay. We need it. We need it.
Oh.
Wow. The Bush quotes coming out in full force.
Those were the good days.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say something. Anyways, the answer is we don't know. If I send an SR25 from my stash to Arena and then I use that in a preset, is the cost, like, the benefit I get is I get to use my SR25. Is the cost of that SR25 gets consumed after that match? Or can I use that in perpetuity? Right? Like,
oh my god, imagine if you lose the item. So like you have it for as long as you win games.
Yeah. There's tons of questions like that. I don't know, you know? I feel like the sun's on my face.
Dude, I've been dealing with the same shit all day.
Yeah. So that's a good question. We don't know the answers other than fully redesigned preset system. Like they said, they're also redesigning. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think we are moving. They didn't say this, but I think they heard the feedback. I think we are moving towards a system where just like building your kit is going to be a thing in Arena. Like I think that
I've just like given up on pushing back.
Like I was going to say, I think they get it. I don't think they get it. If they got it, they would have done it first. But I think that they understand how viscerally people dislike that system and how, once again, I mean, we don't have to talk about it. We've talked about it before. It's like Tarkov is the gun porn game. And then the Arena is like, you don't get to choose anything. Like the draw of Tarkov was you can build it however you want. And then in this game, it's like, you can't pick anything and don't worry. We picked the worst version of everything for you. You know what I mean? It was like, that's not what you want out of Tarkov. And so I think they're kind of getting that. When Tarkov and Arena get linked, XP, level, skills, and weapon mastery will be synced between the two games. But like he made it sound like in Arena, skills will have caps, as in like everybody is still always going to have level 30 strength. But whatever skill points you would have acquired by running around in an Arena match just get applied to your main character, your Tarkov character. So you can level your soft skills in Arena, but in Arena, your soft skills never change. You're leveling your Tarkov player's soft skills.
So, I mean, I guess that's like a way of...
That's kind of a reasonable way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, because with the design where you have two different games sharing the same skill system, you run into the kind of sunk cost fallacy sort of thing where it's like, I really want to play this thing over here, but you're inherently, when you offer two different competing products, you're dipping into your own
supply,
right? You
don't want a situation where people want to play Arena but won't because they don't want to give up the momentum they have in Tarkov, or vice versa. And so the fact that they were like, okay, it'll all be linked, you can play whichever game you want, and even if it's not actually affecting your arena guy, because we want to flatten the skills and make it a fair experience, it will affect, like, you are reaping the benefit of that on your Tarkov guy, which is, I think is good. You'll be able to transfer stuff to and from arena. He said there will be a cap, but he said it will be a comfortable one. So I genuinely am interested if, like, playing arena could be a, like, I think playing arena should be like a B tier way to make money in Tarkov. Like, it shouldn't be, because if it's B tier but no RNG, i.e. you're making money on arena matches whether you win or lose. So it's like you're not making the most amount of money, but you're also, the way you make the most amount of money is like scav streets, where you're going to run into a PMC. And if you can't wax them as your scav, then you might lose all that. You could spend 30 minutes looting filing cabinets in a streets raid on a scav and then die and not get any of that. So it's like, if it's like a B tier way to make money, then maybe people that play more casually would enjoy just turning their brain off, play in arena. You know what I mean? Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they only have an hour or two to game. They play arena all those days. Friday, they have a lot more time. They hook up with the friends on the weekend and they built up a little cash stack. As long as it's not like super juice, I think that could be kind of sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like a kind of a win-win, right? Like, player scavs are toxic as fuck. You're not getting cucked by players as a player.
Yeah.
So it almost like potentially reduces the supply of player scavs.
Yeah.
From raids, and also allows for people who are struggling with Tarkov. Maybe they are out of money. Maybe they're, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That they always have a way to, like, if you're really bad, let's say you're just the worst gamer ever, you'll literally run out of everything. Prapor will give you extra shit. You run out of that and you have no money. What you need to do is practice and put money.
Yes.
Like aside. This lets you do that.
Yep.
Now, what they'll do, rather than like lean into that and have that be like good for the more casual players, that'll be their excuse to make it even more hardcore. Because now they have, it's like, well, now you have a way to
play
guarantee
arena
money and whatever. So now Prapor doesn't give you anything for free. You all start with much less stuff.
Insurance costs triple. Like, yeah. And then this was the big pièce de résistance to them forcing you to play arena if you want these certain, you know, X, Y, or Z features in Tarkov. So, boom, they tweeted that, which is a new secure container. The first new secure container.
What the fuck is it? You sending me a virus?
Oh, whoops, a JFIF. I'm sorry, I said
goddamn JFIF again.
I forgot. Dude, I just right-click save image as. I don't know why people be uploading to JFIF.
You're sending me Trojan horses out here.
Here. Don't. Here. I go like this. And
use the snip tool.
Here, boom.
You know how to use the snip tool?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
No.
You don't.
I don't.
Bro, oh my God, I'm teaching you this right now.
Teach me.
Windows key, Shift S.
Draw.
Now just click and drag, and it, whatever you hover, like click and drag over a thing, and it takes that and it puts it on your clipboard. So you can just Control V into Paint, Control V into like Imager.
That's game changing. Wait,
yeah, you're welcome.
Windows Shift S.
Yep.
Whoa.
You're welcome. Now you don't need to send me fucking viruses.
I didn't care at all because I have like a screenshot tool where I can do custom ones or whatever, but the copying it to the clipboard is actually insane. Where does that picture go?
I'll show you the world.
Shining, shimmering
screenshots. Tell me, Jesse, now when will you figure out how to tech a brand new streamer? I mean, I don't know.
No JFIFs anymore.
Stop sending me fucking viruses. My blood pressure's way up here. I forgot the melody.
It's crystal clear. That was great. So that's the new secure container, the Theta.
So you get that from buying Arena?
You get that from playing Arena. We don't know.
Which means you get it from buying.
Yeah.
It's a microtransaction. Okay, you want the Theta container, but yeah, it's a macro. Yeah, okay.
And this is what it looks like on the inside. Oh, what do you think the size and shape of it is? Just guess. This is a fun game.
3x2 and then a 2x2. I mean, sorry, a 1x2.
3x2, then 1x2. Okay. You're not okay. Boom. It's a 2x2 and 3 1x2s. So here's the thing. It's one cell.
Wow.
It's one cell bigger than a gamma. But you obviously lose the ability to put anything that's 3 cells long in it. Namely the secure container. Not the secure container.
I know exactly what 3 cells long is.
The serve kit. I think it may have been perfect if instead of a 2x2 and 3 1x2s, it was a 3x2 and 2 1x2s. Same amount of cells, but by offering up a 3x, you can put a serve 12 in it. You know what I mean?
Nah.
But either way, I don't care. I'm not a serve 12 enjoyer, by the way. So like this is actually kind of sick to me because I would throw sick case in one of the 1x2s, CMS in another one of the 1x2s, and then you could put like a friggin' docs case in another one of the 1x2s, and then you could have ammo, Vaseline, splint. Bum. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Or early game, dude, Grizzly in the 2x2, and then you got the other 6 cells.
Early game, it would be Grizzly, CMS, like Splint, Tourniquet.
Yep.
And then like 213 key. Like the day one of the life. Let's just something fucking bring this.
Yeah. So that's really cool. It's just, and I'm not even saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that new secure containers have been something that, has been like low-hanging fruit that we've wondered why they haven't ever added before. They had teased the idea of doing stuff like that where you separate it out a little bit, but they haven't done it before. I personally was always okay with something that was like close to the gamma container, because you got to think like if you had never bought EOD, the gamma container, now the only way to get it is unheard, which is $250. And I don't care if people have a container the same size as me. You know what I mean? So like, I was always like, yeah, make a bigger container. So this is kind of perfect where it's like, it's not quite the functionality of a gamma container because you can put, more types of items in it, but it's one cell bigger. It's kind of a juicer container. Like if you're a standard edition Andy, that's awesome. That container is sick. So
you get 3 fucking
1x2s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I'm super interested is how hard is that going to be to attain in Arena? That's the question. Because if it's like getting the Kappa container, if it's like reach global elite in Arena to get this thing, it's like nobody cares. Like
there'll be 4 streamers that'll have it.
Exactly. You have to understand who wants that. Chances are, if you have the Gamma container, you're only going to get that for the grind of doing it, not for its usefulness. And if you're a guy that grinds for Kappa container, well, that's objectively worse than the Kappa container. So I hope they ask themselves, who wants this? Let's make its difficulty proportional to that person. You know what I mean? That's the only question I have left about it, but I think it's pretty cool. Then they teased a new map for Arena, and they teased a little bit of the new mode, the bomb defuse mode. We still don't know any like information about it, but new map and a new mode, objective based. It's like a backpack or something you have to plant, and there's jammers in it or something. He kind of talked about it a little bit, but interesting.
Okay.
So that's most of the Arena stuff. I once again, I've always said, like, I have taken most opportunities, you know, I have had to shit on Arena because I think it's troubled. But I do, when I'm not memeing around, I do try to often say, like, I'm rooting for it. You know what I mean? There are times I want to just be able to get into, like, the action nonstop. This morning I hopped on. I have been playing so much customs. I didn't want to play customs. I've played so much streets over the past 18 months. I was like, dude, I want to play some Shoreline. 3 raids, no people. I looted every room in the resort. Nobody, right? And it's like, I kind of wouldn't mind nonstop getting into fights right now. Like, Arena would be kind of sick. So I'm rooting for the game. I want it to succeed. It is a meme at this point because I think that they fumbled it a little bit. But if you take the 10,000-foot view and go, well, what would make it a game I want to play? Well, if it was linked to Tarkov, if there were currencies, like all that stuff they talked about way back in the beginning that we thought was going to come at launch that wasn't, hey, man, maybe if they get more people in there and there are more reasons to get in there, people to make money, people to grind achievements, people to grind cosmetics, like,
yeah,
and they redo the preset system, and there's a new game mode. Like, there's a universe where 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, Arena's like mildly fun, and I'd like that. You know, I don't think anybody wants it to suck, but it kind of sucks now.
Yeah, you give people too much credit.
Yeah, true. I guess there are a lot of people that do want it to fail, but yeah. So Arena.
This is tangentially related, but something I noticed like yesterday or the day before, and I'm curious what the vibe is from the community. I like looked and I was like, oh, all my followed channels are all playing Escape from Tarkov. I'm like, oh, it just seems like it's back to fucking business as usual. No, like,
yeah,
just everyone's kind of moved on. And
well, yeah. Once again, we talked about, 3 people boycotted the game, and then everybody else that went, like you got to think about the timing of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Unheard Edition thing happened 48 hours later. Gray Zone launched, like so I played Gray Zone for a week. And then when I came back to Tarkov, it was like, the boycott's over, huh? And it was like, no, I never boycotted, you know? Then I played Tarkov for 48 hours, and then Arena Breakout launched. And I played that for a week. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is pretty much business as usual, but like,
I didn't talk to any other Tarkov streamers.
No, and so I'm not saying you were saying this. It's just it's a sentiment that's been popping up in my chat quite a bit. And it's like, it was like, yeah, like Trey, Hutch, and Landmark, I don't think have touched it since it happened. And which is fine, like fair. And I'm not going to judge them when they inevitably come back, right? But most people, it was just crazy cosmic timing where it was like there were days that I didn't want to play Tarkov because I just didn't want to deal with the drama.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a boycott. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you were saying that either. But here we are a few weeks later. Once again, like we said last week, I was looking over the clips that we post to our TikTok from the podcast, and my brother sends me, I review them. And one of them was the conversation we had last week where we were like, it's a shame because Tarkov's in a pretty decent spot in a lot of ways. A lot of the issues have been directly, inertia got adjusted, strength got adjusted, recoil got adjusted, camera shake, blur, aim punch, like all these things. And so a lot of people, yeah, like myself, are back and playing. And yeah, I think very few people ever truly left. I just think there were lots of other options for a while.
I guess I was kind of like opening up Twitch because I honestly don't like watch Twitch ever really these days.
Yeah.
So opening up Twitch and seeing that like everyone I was following playing other games, as a content creator peer, it made me think like I was happy for people like branching out, you know? And then like I was working on the documentary, all this stuff, right? And then it's like pull my head out, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
all of a sudden looking, it's like, oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. No, I knew that this is exactly how it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be that way for me. Like when I popped into Gray Zone, I was excited to play Gray Zone, but the end of the playtest, I said, hey, if they release this game in the next like week, I don't have much left of it in me in its current state. They released it 3 days later, so I played it for a few days and then I stopped. I popped into Arena Breakout, and we've gone at length into Arena Breakout and all of that stuff and the drama and the stuff, and I even made a video about it. But at the end of the day, it's a fun game. I enjoy playing. I think it fizzled out for me because there's just like no meaningful progression. And I'm not saying that they should change their game to have meaningful progression. They should just make, but I'm just saying that's what makes it fizzled out for me, because the really cool gameplay, like I really enjoyed it those times I was playing it, I wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't progressing. Like love it or hate it, that's what Tarkov does well. And Tarkov does it well with a sledgehammer, right? They don't do what they do well. They don't do well with nuance. They're like, max level is 400 trillion XP. Kappa's hard to get. This achievement's hard to get. 100 kills for a tracksuit. They do it with a sledgehammer, but weirdly enough, no one else even does it. Yeah. So Arena Breakout, I got to level 30, which is max level in 3 days. So now XP means nothing. The traders don't level up, so leveling up traders means nothing. You get the flea market at level 15 when you can buy anything in the game, so the economy means nothing. There's no soft skills to level, and so it's just money. And I looked over at Landmark, and he's played 300 hours of it in the past 3 weeks, and he's got $600,000, and I looked at my account, and I had $600,000. And so I was like, well, there's no even meaningful progression there. So for me, like, once again, people are having fun with Arena Breakout, and more power to them, but that's why it like fizzled out for me, because I was just like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what am I working towards?
What's the draw here? You need a carrot.
I do. I play Star Citizen, and I want to spend 6 weeks grinding 1 billion credits to buy this big ship I'm never going to fly. But that's why I come back. You know what I mean? That's why I sat out, me and Sealable Bag sat in a Discord for 6 hours chopping wood in New World, just talking to each other. Cause it's like, I need that carrot. And so that just for me, that's why I ended up popping off of it. Everyone was like, oh, back to Tarkov, couldn't stand the copycat game. And I was just like, no, I did everything in that game. There's 2 maps. Oh,
back to trolling Twitch chat. Couldn't get from copying the same dumb fucking memes.
Yeah. So that was kind of my thing. Okay, so lots of patches coming over the next few weeks and months. There's the linkage patch. They talked a little bit about the PvE mode. It's funny because they were like, he was like, the PvE mode is so popular. We didn't expect how popular it would be, which I just find funny because the whole like SPT thing, they've been like battling the SPT. Remember, it was always like, I don't know, you might get banned if you play SPT, and all these people were playing it, and it was like, we had no idea you guys wanted a single player version of this. It was like, how? Anyways,
I mean, I like not my interpretation of what they're saying, but what it's indicative of, the interest in SPT and the interest in PvE mode, is how fucking bad and frustrating it is to play the game online because of the netcode and cheaters.
You know what's crazy though is I agree with that. I haven't done a single raid in PvE mode, but the PvE players have been coming to my chat. A bunch of them are still waiting 10 plus minutes to get into a match. All the raid timers have been cut in half, so you load into a woods raid and you have 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something like that. And people are like, the AI is so cracked. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's cracked in the normal game, and they just tripled the amount in the PvE mode because they have to be like PMCs and stuff like that. But I have also had, that's not to say that the PvE mode is bad. I have had a ton of people coming in saying, I haven't had more fun in Tarkov in a long time than playing the PvE mode. So a lot of people are really enjoying it. Yeah, how do we get 11.7 on private servers?
Yeah, Chicken Prisms.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
chat saying
yeah.
11.7 on a private server. Oh my god, dude.
Dude, I wish we could Wayback Machine Tarkov and just like no progression, no online, just
You know, there's somebody. We need somebody. I should talk to my boss, bro.
Yeah.
I bet you my boss hasn't like opened up his computer. It's probably been air gapped since the last time we played 2018. So he probably has like 10.2 installed and it hasn't updated. And I'd be like, bro, snapshot your fucking hard drive.
Dude, the only cope for that, the only hopium for that is, and they talked about this, mods coming to the PvE mode. Because the PvE mode is co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody can just crack it to allow more than just 4 people in a group, like you know how we have 2 different, we have a PvE mode and we have a co-op offline mode. Remember that? Like that's in Tarkov right now. I can go to streets and the co-op offline lobby limit is however many PMCs spawn on that map. So so if they can crack that into PvE co-op mode, if they allow mods, then all a modder has to do is be like, inertia, turn this down, weight system, turn that down, boom, bow. And then if you're allowed to bring 18 people in with you, then you just bring 18 people in with you. And it's essentially private. It would be co-op PvE, but you could just make it PvP. We all spawn in the streets. There's 18 of us. There's no inertia. There's no this, that, and the other. And we could just rip it all day.
If I was a modder, I would take what you were just talking about programmatically, and add a user interface to it.
Yeah.
So as like the host of the game, or I don't know how that works. The host of the party, right? You have a toggle for like all the settings,
and
right.
And I don't like it's copium, it's hopium, but they said they're going to allow mods for the PvE mode. And I've seen what modders have done to other games, and I've seen what modders have done to SPT. So if they really let them go wild, it would be sick to be able to create some custom experiences like that in the PvE. Oof. It would be hot, hot, hot. It would be hot, hot, hot. But
wake me up when fucking September ends.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
But that's they said mods are coming, but it won't be until after 1.0. So that's way down the road. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. Now, one of the things they said they're working on with the PvE mode is, and I don't know why they didn't do this on the first place, because he kept saying that like so many people, we only have so many servers every time. And he said this, he was like, even if it's you just running solo, it's on our servers on the back end. So we have to spin up so many more, because every customs raid always has 12 people in it, but you might go into a customs raid alone in the PvE mode. So he said they're reworking the back end so that if you're going in alone, it's going to spin it up locally, which I don't quite understand why they didn't do that in the first place, because he said something along the lines of 70% of the people playing PvE mode queue in alone. So that would reduce their server cost by 70%.
I feel like, did I say that last week or the week before? I feel like I said, I did, didn't I? I pointed out how like they already have it implemented.
Yeah.
With offline
co-op.
Offline co-op.
Or with the offline mode. Yeah.
Yeah. How you're running actually like your own instance of the server.
Yeah.
You can see the
they
ping
have
is
the
0
whole
and whatever.
infrastructure set up, because if I go offline right now, it goes locally. If I do offline co-op, it spins it up on their servers. Like they have that whole infrastructure set up. I'm so intrigued that they didn't do it for the PvE mode, but they are doing it, which makes sense and will hopefully mean the people that do co-op actually together get in faster. And he said that the people that go in solo will get in instantly. So yeah, they are opening the sale of the PvE mode separate from Unheard and EOD. So they are going to sell that in the store, which they said they were going to do. That's not like a new monetization thing. They said they were going to do that. So if you're a standard edition Andy, but you want the PvE mode, you don't have to buy Unheard edition to get it. We don't know when, but they are going to do it. Unity 2022 will be dropping in ETS soon, TM.
Or what year was that?
2022. Yeah, dude, we were hoping to get Unity 2020. I think we're on Unity 2019, but we're getting Unity 2022. Dude, I don't know, brother. Basically, what we have talked about many times and what smart people already know, not going to be anything. He was like, game will feel the same. It's back-end stuff. It allows them to theoretically, hopefully, work faster, yada, yada, yada. We've heard this before. We've upgraded engines before. Whatever. It's not going to be the Jesus patch, I think is the point he was trying to make. He was trying to curb it. I've been trying to curb it. Unity 2022 is not going to be the Jesus patch. There's not just going to be no cheaters and no net code or no desync. It's going to be the same.
I don't remember there ever really being major changes.
No.
Like usually there were changes that came along with those patches, but the changes that we felt weren't the engine ones.
And that's the thing is like, I'm not saying there's no reason to upgrade to Unity 2020. Surely there is from a development perspective, but I don't think that like a fix will come and be like, oh, there are less cheaters now. It's like it's just going to give them better tools to work with. Okay, this is a juicy one though. He was like, yo, we have changes to the armor system. No.
Again?
No, yes, dude. He's doing what we asked. Well, he's doing what I asked because I've been playing it so much. So my take on this, and you can find the clip because I was talking about this like yesterday, right? I was talking about it with Airwing. Oh yeah. I feel so vindicated and I'm so excited about this. So I'm gonna give a little bit of the backstory. I have been saying the whole time that like there's been a lot of negativity towards the new armor system. But I have a suspicion that most people like most 75% of what came with the new armor system. What sucks is the awkward shapes the armor covers now, how dog nuts the soft armor is, how big the armpit hitbox got, the throat hitbox got, and how all of the other work they did to the cool parts of the new armor system feel useless. I don't feel like I get to engage with that. I don't feel like I want to swap this plate to a tier 6 plate because it only covers my left nipple and I'm going to get shot everywhere. So I was like, I think people like a lot of the armor system, but this much they don't like. And the reason they don't like it, and this is what we talked about, was we talked about this before on the podcast, where it's a realistic armor system, right? Because that's how plates work. But the health system in Tarkov isn't realistic. Our thorax doesn't have 85 HP. I have vital organs certain places and not vital organs other places. And basically, you can decide to go two different ways. Gray Zone went the way of you can take hella damage to your thorax, but if you get shot in your heart, you die. Like they went that way, which makes the plate system feel good because the plates cover the vital organs. And I can take shots to my thorax and have it be not big of a deal. So you either completely rework the health system or you abstract the armor system, which is simpler in Tarkov's case because the health system is already not very realistic. And they're doing it, bro. And they're doing it. So basically what he said is, and I think I'm missing some things here because I was taking notes so fast because he ripped through it. But the side plates, the front plate, and the back plate are now all the same size coverage, regardless of the size of the plate.
Gotcha.
Which is good because like the Gazelle has one that's like a diamond, and then like the Gen 4 has one that's just like a square. And that and that actually does, like on the Gazelle, you can get shot here and it's going to go through and it's going to one tap you, but on the like it's so
now is it visual and not
correct. Despite what they look like visually when you're swapping them out, they will all cover the same, just like it used to be. If it touched even down to your shoulder, it's going to go all the way down to your arm. And front plates now cover. He said the front plates, all front plates now cover more of the armpit hitbox, and the the collarbone. So like up to the throat, even if a bunch of them, because a bunch of the armors were like way down here, you can get shot in the collarbone, even though you have a juiced armor. So
yeah.
They're basically going like 75% to what I wanted, which is just like basically go back to the old way. So it's not quite exactly what I wanted. I wanted them to just get rid of the soft armor and just make it front, back, left, right plate, and it covers your entire front, your entire back, your entire left, and your entire right. But they are going much closer to that than I thought they would go. And I think that that's going to make the system feel better, armor more consistent. And then I think the cool things that they added to the armor rework will actually like shine now. It'll actually feel good to find a class 6 plate that fits your armor, because it'll actually feel like it does something when you put it in there. You know what I mean?
Right on.
So that was surprising and very delightful.
Someone really needs to ask Nikita. I like need to know. Like, why are you doing this? Are you doing it because you feel like these changes are the right changes? Or are you? It's completely not helpful.
I know,
but it's a selfish thing. It's like, do you think that that these are the right changes, or are you just doing them?
That is my question too. I like that. I don't want to get into it too much because it's like, it's kind of a nothing burger. It's just this ethereal thing. But all of the things in this podcast, even the ones we haven't talked about yet, are W's. But I walked away with it like, what are we doing? I'm glad you're doing this, but that's, I almost didn't know how to word what I was thinking, but you just worded it. It was like, are you doing it because you think this stuff makes the game better? Or are you doing it because you know people will be happy? And those are different things. You know what I mean? Like, are we making a game or are we? I don't know. But either way, I'm not saying I'm mad about it. I just...
Well, here's the thing. It's important because...
Yeah.
Like, you have a bad relationship with your significant other. You're doing these things. Are you doing them out of spite or because you want to be better?
Yeah.
Because 6 months from now, when you've forgotten how bad it feels to be fucking hated by the community, are you gonna just fall back into the same patterns?
And that's... No, you're 100% right.
Or have you learned?
And that's where it's like, some of these things I feel that, and some of these things I don't. The armor system, this feels natural. The old system wasn't what they wanted. They thought of a new system. They didn't quite think it all the way through. Feedback was given. They're making an adjustment. That through line, I'm like sick. But then we go back to some of the stuff they've been doing these past few weeks. Reducing inertia, increasing base endurance. These are things the player base have been asking for years. Consistently, every wipe. And so to do that, like right here after all the drama and the stuff, that's where I feel that, where I'm like, are you doing this out of spite, or are you doing it like, do you think the game is better with less inertia, or are you just like, well, they want it? I don't know. And so some of those things definitely...
No, we did not ask for reducing it. Yeah, nobody asked for reducing inertia.
I know. That's...
Thank you, chatter.
It's so funny.
Nobody had any problems with inertia ever.
Yeah, no one's ever asked for that. It's like dude, I responded just as an aside because I think this is hilarious. Nikita and he actually answered this question, but Nikita tweeted, he said, share your questions for Tarkov TV Live. And I said, can we move around while packing mags, or at least like not have to stare in our inventory? Are there any plans to update smoke grenades to make them usable, to update them? Because they're even actually more broken than they were before, but they've never been useful. Now they're even more broken. And then I said, can we get
broken in a bad way?
Yeah. And then I said, can we get a menu where we hold G and scroll wheel to select what grenade we want? And somebody responded, nobody wants these features in EFT. And I was like, wait, working smoke grenades? Nobody wants that? I don't know, man. I was just like, okay, well, I don't know. I think it's funny. Anyways. Yeah. Funny how, no, dude, I love that.
The internet was a mistake.
That's the other thing, dude. That's the other thing. Somebody said. Hold on. I have to check Twitter to see if this guy in chat is the same guy from my Twitter. No, he's not. Funny how the Tarkov community wants Tarkov to be like Arena Breakout. Dude, you're so deep in your own hole. You can't see the sunlight anymore, dude. We have been...
That has to wait. That's satire, right?
No, dude, no. Somebody,
Wait, I'm sorry. That's satire, right?
Dude, the Tarkov community has been asking for like a few things. Now, not everybody, right? Some people liked all sorts of terrible things that came to the game, but most of the community have been asking for quality of life features for 5+ years. Arena Breakout put those features in their game, and now the people that have been asking for the same things for 5 years are being told that I want Tarkov to be like Arena Breakout. It's so crazy, dude.
I saw the game for
crazy.
I saw the game for 45 seconds. Never played it myself. I mean, granted, I'm not like really interested in Tarkov, right? Like I once was.
Yeah.
But I still, the things I wanted for Tarkov, I still want for Tarkov.
Yeah.
And yet, there's nothing to do with Arena Breakout.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, it's so deep in the hole of the drama. It's crazy. It is just so surface level. It is just so surface level. Somebody else, like that is the same. If you genuinely think that people that want quality of life features want Tarkov to be like Arena Breakout, you are the same person 3 years ago saying Tarkov shouldn't have airdrops because PUBG has them. Also, it's a no-fly zone. It's like you just see PUBG has an airdrop. Why do you want this game to be like PUBG? Like it's insane. It's insane. And I honestly, I just lap it up because I find it to be so hilarious. I find it to be so hilarious. And then also what I find funny is this is another thing I find funny, is when Tarkov used to have a thing, then they took that thing away, but players are asking for that thing back and then being told they want Tarkov to be like they want Tarkov to be like Arena Breakout. It was like, no, Tarkov had this. Tarkov's the one that invented this feature. Tarkov used to have it. What do you mean?
I want 2018 Tarkov.
Yeah, dude. It's so freaking funny. Oh, yeah. You look at that clip if you want to see the smokes.
Why is the smoke?
Yeah, look at that clip. Yeah. By the way,
I'm sorry.
By the way, according to Twitter, nobody wants those features in Tarkov. I asked for working smoke grenades and a selector so that we can pick which grenade we throw. Look at this screen, and I want you to know that Twitter is saying nobody... Obviously, it's just one Twitter idiot, but I just find it to be so funny. It's just like an alien planet. I don't know.
I mean, what that looks like is you took you went into your post effects settings and you chose like watermelon as the theme and just turned the intensity to 100.
Yep. Yeah. So
it literally it's just tints everything. You see completely like it's 99% opacity. Sorry, 1% opacity.
Yeah.
When it should be fucking 0%.
Yep.
Ay.
Yeah, so that's that. The next thing to talk about is polls. Because he's been asking all these questions on Twitter. And some of the most common responses when he asks questions on Twitter is for the love of...
I hope you get hit by a bus.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's one. Is please put these questions in the game. Not everybody lives on Twitter. And so he said they're putting polls in the game and then they're going to actually have rewards for participating in them, which is going to work very effectively because holy Christ, if they did the whole like drops, like when they do the podcasts, they do drops, but instead of doing them through Twitch, they just do codes that you activate in the launcher. Dude, if he mumbled when he said the code, or if the code didn't work, it was like he was robbing these people's grandmas. So Tarkov players will do just about anything for loot. And so if you give them a reward for participating in these polls, I feel like you'll actually get a lot of people participating in them. So,
I mean, yeah, I honestly, I think I might have said like, there's no way that they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I was wrong about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too. I didn't think they were ever going to do it too. I didn't think they were ever going to do it either. So that's a good thing. And then he kind of, before we get to like the big thing, he talked about when the wipe is and what's going to come in the actual next wipe. They blew through a bunch of little things that are happening. They are disabling the hearing distance changes for the perception skill. I know that you kind of did some science on that it maybe was less of a deal than people thought it was, but
that was in 1997.
Yeah,
though, so,
and
I mean,
also insignificant or significant, both paths lead to why is this in the game? Like nobody wanted it, whether it was I think what you did was important because I think it was getting out of hand how people perceived it and how strong that advantage. So your testing was important, but they are removing that, which is great. They're going to be increasing how fast some of the skills level, which is really good. I play this game 50 hours a week and I've gotten max attention one time. So it's like, I'm not saying everyone should have max attention all the time. I'm just saying if you don't play this game 50 hours a week, you can't even begin to conceive of maxing any of the skills. You know what I mean? So I think increasing the leveling of them a little bit can help people. They are increasing the spawn chance of like optics. They're working on bolties to make them feel better. They're adding the new quest line. It's a whole new quest line. It's called Nostalgia, and that's going to be allow you to get the big pockets. So remember how Unheard has bigger pockets now? You'll be able to get the big pockets in game by doing a quest called a quest line called Nostalgia. They are adding an option that allows you to wipe your own character if you would like in the PvE mode, because there is no wipes in the PvE modes. But if you wanted to participate in a wipe or like try something different, you could. They are adding compensation when you report a cheater and they get banned, which is something I had on my bingo card as will never happen. You know what I mean? I think.
Did you actually have a bingo card?
No, but okay. I kind of did mentally because of how many times we joked about what was going to be on our bingo card. So I kind of had one mentally, but
I only asked that because I literally made a bunch of flat Earth bingo shit like a couple of months ago. Oh my God,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I don't think that compensation is going to be you get your gear back, which I know like the Cycle Frontier did. They had tracked all the items and it was cool, but they are going to add some sort of compensation for that. Which will inevitably lead to lots of false reports. But hey, I don't know. I do think it's cool. I do think cheaters suck wiener enough that when they get banned,
there has to be. Well, so wait, there has to be. I don't want to say a negative for false reports.
Yeah,
but like they should limit you to like 3 reports a week, or like maybe not like that, but like
an hour.
Otherwise, everyone will report everyone.
Yeah. And
then,
well, they're gonna see. They're gonna see what happens.
Just demolishes the.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Cheater compensation, some flea market stuff. Okay, next big thing. They are keeping the flea market not found in raid next wipe. Which.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I am conflicted. I'm so glad I'm talking to you about this because we don't have to go too deep in it. If you want more information, listen to 2 weeks ago, I think, where we did our humongo deep dive into like your solution for Found and Raid, and even my uber simplified solution. If you want a 3-hour conversation on how Found and Raid should be fixed, watch that podcast. But the reason I'm conflicted is because I just want them to do it right. I'm glad, like, the reason I'm excited that they're leaving it is that shows me they're willing to actually change. I thought that they were going to just do this for an event as kind of a middle finger, just like, fine, play with your toys and we'll get back to business. But them, Nikita actually being like, actually, well, I think we're going to keep it, means I think they're open to change. But the reason I'm sad about it is because if they remove that from the flea, but keep all of the other garbage that they put around the Found and Raid flea, and then just take out the Found and Raid flea, the game is going to feel weird. It's going to feel better to a lot of people. I'm not saying that you, the listener, should think it's objectively in a worse spot or whatever, but it's going to feel even more disjointed and arbitrary because a lot of these features were introduced together, then some of them in isolation are being... So it's like, I was thinking about that. I was like, so next wipe, if you need a power cord for your quest and you put it in your secure container and you die with it, you will be able to sell it, but you won't be able to turn it in. And that used to be all together. It was either Found and Raid or not. If I can't sell it, I also can't turn it in for a quest, but now you can't turn it in for a quest, but you can sell it. And so the solution is simple, and it is what we talked about. And the beauty of that's what you talked about is that your idea for Found and Raid isn't an idea for Found and Raid. Your idea is a foundational system that allows them the flexibility to create the system however they want. That's why I've been so confident pushing people to that episode of the podcast. And I was going to make a video about it, but then I wasn't going to make a video about it. But now that I am going to make a video about it because now it's actually staying. I've been so confident. Like, normally I'm super not like, I don't know, I guess confident. If I have an idea, I'm always like, well, it could suck, or, maybe I'm not missing things. I always like to, but I've been super confident about this because it's not an idea for Found and Raid. You're not like, these things should be Found and Raid and these things aren't. You're like, this is a much better way to develop this that gives you infinite flexibility to come up with a better idea, see how it works, tinker that idea if you want. Like, it's completely free to you guys, BSG. Yeah. It's the foundation. So that it's just, what you outlined, what we talked about is better objectively. It should be done that way. And so I'm a little conflicted. As a gamer, as a player of the game, it has felt really good to find something worth a lot of money, like a LEDX or a red key card if we're doing, the marked room event, and be like, sick. Let's keep going.
I earned the thing.
Let's keep going. Yeah. Like, I don't have to leave. If I find a green key card, it's like, let's go fight those guys, or let's go loot this room, or, oh, the boss is up, let's go kill him. I don't have to run out.
And okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people, there's so many things that have changed that I couldn't possibly like accurately predict this. A lot of people were like, get ready for the hatchet runners. And my gut was like, there's something about, I don't see that being that much of a thing, especially like what killed hatchet running. Me personally, it wasn't the run through, it wasn't the healing system, right? It wasn't any of that shit. It was tagged and cursed.
Oh yeah.
Like if you go in with like a tier 3 armor or like, let's just say no armor and like a souped up pistol, and like you are gonna get fucked by, or actually not even that. If you spawn in glass hallway and the guy in forklift is a hatchling, you're probably going to get fucked by that feature because you're going to roll over there and there's going to be 7 scabs that are going to come. Yeah. It might as well be coming at you, right? So, I don't know. So have you seen any hatchlings?
Not a single one. Now, as always, the caveat is I'm just one player. I don't have the full, I only play on so many servers. I only play so many hours a day. But I have not seen a single hatchet runner. And once again, to the people that really think the hatchet runner Armageddon is coming, know that I was on your team for like 2 years when a lot of people were like, get rid of Found and Raid, get rid of Found and Raid. My go-to thing was like the hatchet runners. There used to be hatchet runners all the time. Like that, I was that guy. I have just been convinced that it's not going to be an issue. Between tagged and cursed, between how many cheap guns there are in the game right now, I really don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal. I'm not saying there will never be a hatchet runner ever again. I don't think it'll be like 11.5 or whenever it was, when it was crazy. I really don't think it'll be that way. We'll see. I am always down to be wrong, right? I'm always down to be wrong, but I haven't seen it. And yeah, no hatchlings because of late wipe. Assuming that's true, the ratio wouldn't be, there are like, if there are 1 million people hatchet running in early wipe, there wouldn't be 0 people hatchet running just because it's late wipe. Presumably, it would be like 200,000. Like, there would be some amount of people late wipe that aren't progressed, that don't have 1 billion rubles, that would be hatchet running. So if the only reason people aren't hatching running is because it's late wipe, by that logic, I would assume we would see some hatchet runners, because not everybody has 1 million rubles. Not everybody's level 50. You know what I mean? So.
And that logic also assumes that people hatchet ran because they didn't have shit. That's not true.
Yeah.
There were lots of people who hatchet ran because it was like a way to play the game on autopilot without having to, you're not investing any mental, emotional, anything.
Yeah.
It was like opening up the free, cheapest, shittiest loot boxes, like scratching like a 1 in a million fucking scratch ticket.
Yeah.
Where that you got for free. Like,
yep.
So,
and
people would go in, they get the LEDX, and it's not like they would sell it on the flea or sell it to therapist and then go buy a gun. They would offload their loot, take everything that they had on them off, and go back in naked.
Yeah. And once again, I'm not saying that this is going to be like, this is going to single-handedly remove all the hatchlings. But once again, think about that. If you're a hatchling, so you tell me how, like, am I coping here? If you're a guy that is hatchet running, if you're not cheating or RMTing, presumably you're hatchet running to make money, whether that's just number go up or because you actually are saving up to run good gear. You might get a bad spawn. You might die to a scav. You might die to a PMC. You might get to the room and not find any loot. There just might not be a LEDX in that key room, right? Am I coping to think that not all those people, but some of those people would be like, I could just play arena and make money every raid and send 1 million rubles a day to my character? Like,
no,
I don't think it's going to be 1 million people, but I think, once again, wouldn't that be a more consistent way to make money?
Well, no,
I guess unless you had juice keys and you were finding LEDXs all day.
It depends. A non-zero number of people. Yes. Mm-hmm. My gut, and again, this is purely anecdotal.
Yeah.
I want to say like 70% of them do it because they want to have Netflix up.
I see what you mean.
They don't want to
literally don't want to pay attention. Yeah, don't want to have to pay attention.
They don't want to go and be sweaty and play, because arena you have to deal with people yelling at you, your team. That's too much fucking work.
You're not wrong.
You know, so
you're not wrong. Yeah,
but I'm sure some people, some people hatchet ran because they were desperate and they really were trying. They were just bad or struggling or unlucky. But I think a lot of the people, hatchet running was a way of life. It wasn't a last resort.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, once again, 2 things. 1, I'm not saying this from the position of, oh my God, I'm so happy they're keeping the non-found and raid flea. Once again, the solutions we have outlined would fix hatchet running and would fix questing and would fix found and raid and would fix the flea market and would give BSG infinitely more flexibility and aren't hard for them to do. So I'm not team put the flea market back the way it was, and I'm not team just keep founded raid flea market removed. I'm team the system can be better, and it can be better and more flexible for you, BSG, to do whatever you want, and that's infinitely better. So know that me talking about hatchet running is not because I'm like, team, let's keep the no found and raid flea. Second of all, I'm also totally down to be wrong. Like, first week of the wipe, we'll come on the podcast. And if I'm running into hatchet runners, I'll be like, shit, I was wrong. There's hatchet runners everywhere. We got to do something about it. So I just don't think there will be, but we'll see, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, and listen, if you're wrong or someone else is right, it's all like by accident anyway, because none of us have any other information other than what you do and what two of your friends do and what you saw on Reddit.
Yeah.
None of us have enough information to really. It just so happens that I've got 5 years of random Twitch chatters Wing about how I've got 27 million rubles and I'm still hatchet running. That's honestly, I'm basing it off of that.
Yeah.
Of literally hundreds of people in my chat going, I'm hatchet running right now with the fucking sound muted, watching you not paying attention. And I've got the joke was always I've got more money than me.
Yeah, and they're still hatchet running. Yeah.
So.
Yep, that's a good point. That's a good point. So we'll see. But that's ultimately why I'm circling back around to I'm going to make the video. I'm going to take time. I'm going to script it out. I'm basically going to remake your video. Because remember, I was like, Veritas, you should resend that video to Nikita. And you were like, no. I'm going to remake your video and put my own flair on it and really just try to drive home that this isn't a solution. It's a foundation. Like I'm going to try.
You should take the export the transcript with one of those AI tools and just say word for word what my video said. But ironically, dude, that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be hilarious, dude.
Even all the ums and the whatever, like, oh yeah, guys, I'm just driving home from work when you're like not in the car. Like, no, the whole beginning of that, the first 20 minutes of that video is me literally in traffic. I took my fucking camera and I
remember that.
With a sunroof.
I remember that. Holy
like vlog
cow.
style, driving my Honda.
Watching that. Holy cow. But yeah, so I'm basically just going to do that. Really try and nail down the fact that this isn't a Jesse has a solution to a problem. The streamer thinks that this is better, and drive home the fact that this is just a foundation that allows them to be more flexible with what they want to do. Because I was closed off to doing the video because I didn't think that they cared to change anything.
Yeah.
But it seems like they care to change stuff. And so I still don't think they watch my videos. I still don't think they're going to do anything about it. But for my own sanity, now I can make the video and be like, well, I put it out there. I was exhaustive with it. If they see it and they want to do anything, whatever, you know?
Listen, it's a win-win. You either can make an impact or you have ammunition to say, I fucking told you so later.
Honestly, true.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would take 5 years.
Yeah.
I didn't think I thought I missed the boat on all of these things, and yet every year it's like, oh, the video I made 5 years ago was even more right now than it was then.
Yeah. Next thing is they are working on, he didn't give a date, but I wouldn't expect this till long after 1.0, but they are working on like dedicated hardcore character. Some sort of, which once again, I think is cool. I think more game modes, more opportunities, more ways to play is kind of a good idea. So I think hardcore servers, like that's kind of the only way I would ever want to do hardcore is hardcore servers, because the game kicks me in the dick all day enough. I only want to increase the dick kicking if everyone in the raid has also increased it, right? Like I don't want to handicap myself even more just for the lulz. But if it's a server where everyone's playing by the same rules, it's like, oh, that's kind of sick. They are working on the ability to access your stash and hideout while loading into raids, which is a blessing and a curse because we've been asking for that for so long, but it is also kind of confirmation that the raid loading times probably will never get much better if they're designing a tool to allow us to fiddle around.
We've been complaining so long about the long wait times. We're like, don't worry, we add the magazines to waiting room.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fucking, I can do my highlights puzzles. That's a throwback. Anybody remember those?
Oh,
you know you're a fucking millennial if you remember highlights.
Yeah.
Fucking office.
So that achievements will not be reset, but the progress on ones that you haven't complete will be reset, and they're working on changing that so that like progress will persist through wipes. But for this wipe that's coming, progress will reset. Achievements that you haven't fully completed will reset. Some small patches between now and the big patch, and then they gave it to us. The patch 0.15 will be a wipe, and that is in early August. Wipe in August. So that's a lot later than a lot of people were expecting. I think there were some miscommunications on Twitter where a lot of people thought that the wipe was happening in May, but it's not. So it's a lot later than some people were thinking. I've been trying to warn people, like, we don't know anything until they tweet about it or until they say specifically. So this is them saying specifically, wipe's going to happen in early August. They're going to try and do a bunch of events between now and then. He stressed again that the majority of the team is working on the release of the game, the storyline quests, the graphics overhaul, and all of the new content associated with 1.0 of the game. He said yet again, 1.0 is coming sooner than you think, but then immediately was like, but I mean, the soon means it's not that soon, but it's soon. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, whatever, dude.
This is my psychic prediction. One of the podcasts I watched, the Skeptics Guide to the Universe, every year they do their psychic predictions for the year. And what they just each come up with like a handful of very specific predictions that like at one point they're going to just statistically get something right. Yeah. So I'm going to say that the storyline quests are going to be the exact same quests we have now, but they're going to add cutscenes. That's my psychic prediction. There's just going to be like Prapor, fucking therapists. Yep. Rule 34. Sorry, I got halfway through that sentence and my mind
went straight to Rule 34.
Yeah, sorry. What was I talking about?
What was I talking about? So what's coming in the wipe is they're adding new hideout zones, which is whatever. Some of them, there's like a cultist looking one. I don't know. There's another one. This one, I'll send you the picture. It looks kind of cool. It's like an upgraded version of the gun wall with mannequins that you can put full like presets on. I think you can like swap them in and out, but I think it's more for visual aesthetic than for like.
I mean, dude, that's like
functional.
That was like my dream back in the day. I wanted, because I played modded Skyrim, and I had like I always had like one of these fucking like a trophy room.
Yeah.
I wanted this with the mannequins and everything. Like, yeah, that was like my dream.
Yep. So they showed like a little video of being able to equip what's on the mannequin or put what's on you on the mannequin and interact with it. Once again, I don't see a universe where people are like rushing into their hideouts to swap back and forth stuff on their mannequin. I just think it's a cool like visual thing to kind of show off some of your favorite gear and stuff. They are adding new guns. They are adding the Desert Eagle, the SR3M.
I vaguely recall him saying there would never be a deagle. I might be wrong, but I don't know why.
I also recall that.
I don't know why it's such a specific memory, but
yeah, I also recall that. I think it's such a specific memory because it's such an iconic gun. That's like a meme. It's like the Freebird of guns, where it's like, add a deagle. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a deagle in every game. And I think
because it would be the most busted, like there would be no reason to use anything else, although it's probably going to be unusable.
Which isn't the deagle kind of the RSH-12? It shoots the Ash-12 round. That thing freaking smacks. Anyways, so the Desert Eagle, the SR3M, which the SR2, so the SR1MP is the pistol that uses that very specific ammunition, which has always been in the game. The SR2 is the submachine gun that shoots that. The SR3 is
SR71.
Looks like that. It looks like a bigger version of the SR2, but it shoots Val ammo. So it's like another Val SMG because the VSK sucks, which is the submachine gun that shoots the Val ammo that we have in the game right now. But they're on the SR3, the M60, which gun nerds everywhere rejoiced at. It's a big belt-fed LMG. I don't know nothing about the M60, but like people were freaking out about the M60, like in a good way.
There's not a single game where an LMG ever felt good. The LMG was always the I'm super bored, I've done everything a million times, I want a meme.
Which we have an LMG. It's called the PKP and the PKM. It's what Kaban uses, and it is exactly that. It is, nobody ever uses it unless they meme around. So then we're getting that, and then we're getting a whole family of Uzis. Short Uzi, long Uzi, suppressed Uzi. So yeah.
Oh my god. I got bad memories about Uzis.
Dude, bipods and bracing. You remember in Call of Duty when we were playing Call of Duty together, and that's coming to Tarkov. Yes,
yeah,
they literally showed a video of it, where like without a bipod, he came up with an M4 and he like braced on the wall and then like pivoted around the corner of the wall, and then they're working bipods. He showed on a few different guns. There was like an SR25, it looked like, and he hit a thing and he pulled both things down. It's an animation, and then he kind of like locked onto the cover and he like pivoted and shot, and he has like very little recoil. So the bipod thing is cool. I don't know how usable that will be. I am thinking though that suppressed DVL, I do snipe. That is my favorite DVL, and it has always had a bipod. So if I get in a cool snipe spot on woods and I can, it steadies my aim or whatever, or reduces the recoil, that's sick. But more than
it should allow you to basically have infinite breath, like the equivalent of that.
Yeah. But more than bipods, the bracing I think could be cool, because that was incredibly usable in COD. It was the only game I had seen that in, and it was incredibly usable. So they've been talking about that for a long time. This one I'm interested to see what you think about this. They're remaking Factory. The whole map. Like they're kind of getting rid of Factory, old Factory. He said that they want to keep old Factory around in like events and stuff like that for the nostalgia. I think that's actually what he said. But he basically was like, we wanted to bring Factory up to par visually and kind of just decided to remake it. But I know to the OGs like you and Chicken Prism and the guys who were playing for a year or two before I started playing, Factory was the business. There's a lot of nostalgia there. So they're remaking Factory.
I'm angry.
Yeah, I wish they would just call it a different map and keep both.
Yeah, just call it Hangar. What the fuck,
yeah,
dog? Yeah,
that's kind of what I was hoping. So
that's their admission that they can't fix the spawns.
They just can't fix the spawns. But once again, we don't know how. Oh yeah, he said for the legacy. Yeah, he said for the legacy. We don't know how they're going to be keeping it around. I would love, even if they call them Factory and Old Factory, I think it'd be cool if they just kept both.
Classic Factory.
Yeah, Factory Classic.
It's like 8-bit.
Yeah, like a Tarkin video. Yeah. Map to map travel is coming. He said we don't have anything to show you, and we'll show you more later. So we saw that picture last week in the map to map travel. We talked about it a little bit. He said it's going to be like an event, basically. I think almost like a quest chain where you have to travel from here to there to here to there to here to there, and then when you do that, it like just stays in the game forever as an option to you. That's kind of, don't quote me on that. It was weird. And then same thing with the mortar strikes. They're adding mortar strikes, which a lot of people kind of draw parallels to like red zones in other games. Like PUBG is one. I was playing PUBG with Ham the other day. We're just on the map. There'll be a red zone. If you're in there, you're going to get mortar. And so a lot of people were like, I don't know about that, because it just feels so RNG. You know what I mean? Imagine you finally get...
It's RNG when you have a mini map and can see the circle.
Yes.
It's going to be even worse when you just hear like...
Yeah.
And you're
exactly. Exactly.
I'm just gonna go...
I was like, dude, imagine you finally get to the roof of the resort to get Signal Part 1 done, and it's just like mortar strike out of nowhere. So I feel like they're gonna have to communicate that, because like you said, I didn't even think about that. There's no mini map, dude. You're not even gonna be able to know. I don't know. Okay. Patch point 15. Tripwires and landmines. Players and AI will be able to place explosive with tripwires and place landmines. You will be able to tripwire dead bodies. Like, you'll be able to booby trap dead bodies. Dude. Stankrat is coming up with some devious strategies right now. Imagine you just, dude, you kill a guy, you go swing, you kill another guy, you come back, you lay prone on that thing. Boom! Boom. Now, they will also add in that same patch the ability to defuse mines and defuse tripwires. But, yeah, we're gonna have to learn how to figure out if, I mean, the clips are gonna be S tier. The highlight videos are gonna get a huge bump. The mental health,
all I can think about is
maybe not so much.
My new show that I've binged, Rick and Morty, and all I can think about is space AIDS. I mean,
space AIDS?
Yeah, space AIDS.
Okay. Would you like me to make it worse?
No.
I'm going to do it anyway. There's a new boss. Okay. His name is Partisan. Don't know how to pronounce it. Parmesan. That is what everyone's calling him. The new boss, Parmesan. And
I invented that show.
They're adding him to this patch because that's his thing. Fighting him, like, his whole area is going to be like booby trapped and landmines, and that's his shtick. He's crafty like that.
Oh, he's a pervert is what you mean.
Yeah, ew.
He's a fucking deviant.
Ew. Now, the other thing he's known for, the other thing he does is he chases down and hunts PMCs with low karma. PMC karma is being added to the game in patch point 15. And I swear to God, I can find the clip for you. He said specifically, we are not going to tell you anything about it or how to increase or decrease the karma.
That means two things. That means one of two things. It'll be data mined 14 minutes after the patch comes out. It'll be on the wiki.
Of course.
Or it's space AIDS. It's going to be the most toxic fucking bullshit where there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be making content being like, yo, what I did was, if you go to factory, okay, and if you fucking pat your head and do circles on your belly, and then if you hit double F1 and then give the middle finger to a bear and you're a USEC, then I think that gives you +5. And then
the boss won't chase you down and kill you.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
So because their design is going to be incoherent.
Yeah. That was the thing. It felt like an attack. I felt attacked when I heard that, because for 2 years now, anytime PMC karma gets brought up in the Tarkov sphere, a section of the community freaks out where they're like, I'm literally going to stop playing the game. If they add PMC karma, it's going to ruin the game. And I've always said, we have to let them cook. We have to see what PMC karma is. Because if every time I kill a bear, I lose karma, I think that's going to be AIDS and that's going to be terrible. But there are other ways to do it where it's not that you lose karma, but by working together with other people, you can gain karma. And maybe it only goes that way. And so what I've been saying for 2 years is the one thing we need before we freak out is we just need some clarity on what the feature is. And then he looked at the camera and said, we're not going to tell you anything about it. And I wanted to throw up, dude. The one thing this feature needs is clarity on what it is, dude.
What have we learned? Come here, chat. What have we learned? So, I mean, that answers my question from earlier.
Yeah.
That he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
So, dude, I was like, so yeah, so we're not going to get the clarity. We're just going to get, I don't know.
Claritin
clear. Live Claritin clear with PMC Karma as Parmesan comes and finds you. Now, apparently, he was like, if you sit in a bush too long, that's going to lower your karma. And the dude is going to he was like, the dude's going to chase down rats, basically, as well. Dude, I don't know.
Oh, that's going to fuck you when, that's going to ruin people playing Tarkov the way he wants them to play Tarkov. You're going to be like a solo player or a duo, and you're going to be playing slow and tactical. And the logic is going to be like, if your X position hasn't changed by at least 10 meters in 35 seconds, when you're fucking surrounded by a bunch of people, scav bosses downstairs, and you're healing because you've gotten a fight with 800 things, and it's going to be like, haha, you fucking rat. And the guy who's in the bush going every 30 seconds is gonna not get chased down.
It's like the macros in the MMOs when people didn't want to get kicked out for inactivity every 30 minutes, it would just press W. The rats are gonna learn the strategies and do that, but the guy that's just healing and hasn't touched W in 3 minutes is gonna get chased down by the boss. If you're not getting chased down by the boss, you're gonna get struck by a mortar. If you're not getting struck by a mortar, you're gonna go loot the body that you killed, and it's gonna have a landmine in it. Patch 15, people.
I figured it out. Get everybody. I figured it out. I figured it out.
What?
Oh my God. Get everybody fucking addicted to the game. Have them pay a lot of money for it. Get them addicted to it like heroin. Fuck the game up so bad and say, well, there's a version that doesn't have all these issues, $250.
Yeah. Here we are in 2024, Escape from Tarkov land.
Dude.
So yeah, we'll see. But don't worry. The next thing he said is they are working on making sure that the gear doesn't clip. Visually, the gear clipping, it's being addressed. So.
Give me Giga W.
Omega W, boys. So that he actually did say before he ended up reading my question that they are adding a selector for grenades, which is awesome. I've been balding about that for years. They're adding a toggle for flashlights. So a hold for flashlights to simulate like a pressure pad, where as you peek a corner, you can just hold T and then you let go and it turns it off. Which if you have I have my flashlight on a mouse button, that actually might be kind of cool. And then they're adding armbands for both shoulders, like in Arena, I guess, for better PID and stuff like that. And then they're adding some more UI changes, some more technical stuff. He talked about audio quite a bit. And I don't know, didn't say a whole lot. Optimizing occlusion zones and performance. I know that the audio stuff, he said before, it can be a big drag on performance. I don't know, man. He said they're working on the active headsets, which is weird because they kind of already did what we wanted them to do to them, which is just make it so that none of them hear farther away than the other ones. And they mostly did that. They did 90% of that. So then he said again that they're working on the active headsets. I don't know what that means. He said they're adjusting.
We undo everything we just did. Yeah. Fuck you.
He said they're adjusting the radius of sounds. So what I think he meant by that is addressing the frustrations that the people have that everything I do is so loud. And it's so loud that even if I'm not talking to chat, if I'm just healing and like maybe walking around and I'm coughing, like you just can't hear anything else because all of the sounds you make are so loud. If you're tiptoeing around, to you it's super loud, but to the other player it's super quiet. So I think they're basically just talking about how they can go through everything. How loud is each action? How loud should it be? Based on distance, based on these things. So it seems like they're going to take a refactor at that. And then he said adjusting the AI and PMC voice volumes. As a quick just tirade, because I'm frustrated, like every single day since last Thursday. Remember last Thursday, I was like, yo, the game actually feels kind of good now because they are actually adjusting all the things we wanted them to adjust. From a movement perspective, from a how guns feel perspective, I think the game feels really good. They took a lot of the feedback. They made a lot of the adjustments to inertia, strength, recoil, camera recoil, aim punch, all that kind of stuff. Every single day, the audio and the desync has gotten worse. Oh yeah, the fog, huge W. Like from like a movement engaging with the map, the game feels pretty good right now.
You said the audio has gotten worse?
The audio and the desync, it's crazy, dude. I'm truly like, I knew, it's funny because I knew what questions you're going to ask me. And so I started asking them myself, where I was like, was the audio always this bad? But I was more frustrated with the aim punch that I didn't see it. And now that the aim punch is better, I'm seeing the audio or seeing the audio, Lamau. I'm noticing the audio issues or I'm noticing the desync more. And I don't know the answer, right? All I can say is anecdotally, I clip things a lot on stream. I go through a lot of my own clips because I clip stuff all the time to rewatch. And then I, delete the ones I don't want and I send the ones to Daniel to edit. And I have had a huge uptick in the amount of clips that I clip, and I'm gigamalding and I'm going frame by frame and I'm 4 business days behind a wall and then like start taking damage and then fall over dead. Or today, I can send it to you after if you want. It's the perfect clip. It's the perfect clip because normally when I get mad that I didn't hear someone, there's a part of me that's like, well, were you talking to chat? Was I running? Was my character running? Did the audio just like sound in front of me, but it was really behind me? It's hard. Sometimes I gamer mauled and I'm just like, the freaking audio. It was the perfect clip. I ran up to a corner, then stopped my sprint. So I'm walking. I'm not talking to chat. There is no gunfire on the map going on. I peek the corner and there's a juicer with like 2 guns and a huge bag. Bag might be empty. I'm not saying he was heavy. Full sprinting at me, like 10 meters away. No audio. There were no footstep audio. I just shot him in the face. And then I was like, chat, did that guy make any audio? And they were like, no. Then we clipped it and we watched the clip back like 3 times because I was like, I really want to make sure I'm not crazy here.
Pull it into Premiere, turn the gain up to plus fucking 30.
I really should. Because
all you'll hear is the wind just like...
Yeah.
And that's it.
Because normally there's always something that kind of... But it was the perfect clip. And so the answer is I don't know. I don't know if it's actually getting worse or if it just... I'm perceiving it to be worse. But it just feels like a cosmic yin and yang where if there is a W somewhere in Tarkov, an L must pop up. You know what I mean? And so it's like the fog is gone and that's so good. The guns feel good. The movement feels good. So the audio's gotta suck and the desync has to be bad. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like this doom and gloomer, but dude, it has been a lot in the past week. And so he talked about the audio and he was like, yeah, we're going to optimize the occlusion zones and work on the headsets. And I just like, I was wholly...
But are you going to fix it though?
Exactly.
But are you going to fix it?
I was wholly unimpressed by his, I don't know, to the audio thing. Cause I was like, what? I know this. I know I should know better. You don't have to say it, but I just want, it would make me feel so much better for them to say the audio sucks. Because I don't think that they know how bad it is. Like, I think that when they think about it, they're like, well, yeah, of course. Like, you know, it can always be better. And, you know, it's dragging down performance. It's like, I don't want better audio so that I can have better frames, dude. I want better audio because I just malfunctioned because there's this really cool dude. What was his name? Domino, I think. It was this really cool, smaller streamer. He popped into my chat after I killed him. I ran across Skybridge on Shoreline, and I heard a duffel bag zip, and it sounded above me. So I thought he was in 301. You know how if you run from east to west, 301 is the Juicer Ledex room. I thought he was above me. I ran up there. I was like trying to bait him out. He runs up the steps behind me, kills me. And so I was like, what the hell? Then he comes into chat, and I was like, yo, GG's. Like, I was mad because the audio, but GG's. I was like, where were you? Because I thought you were in 301. And he was like, oh, I was in the basement checking for red. And I was like, I don't think they know. You know what I mean? I don't think they know that happens. I don't think they know how bad it is.
In an alternate universe where like I'm still like active with this, and I had a clip and I'd send it to Nikita, be like, hey, you know, like, you know, what are you guys gonna do with the, you know, with the sound? And he'd be like, well, what do you mean? And I'd send him a clip, and he'd be like, oh, like, is this common? And I'd be like,
dude. So at this point, that's kind of what I need. I don't. The first step is admitting you have a problem, and I just truly don't think. Like, everybody just uses the words, you know, the audio. And I think to them, that means they want to optimize the occlusion zone so it affects FPS less. And to the actual people that play the video game, we're like, could we hear things, please, on the map, please? Because once again, this has nothing to do with realism or like immersion or like that. That's an argument that never comes up because I can hear somebody crack their toe 4 floors below me, but then I turn a corner and a human being is running as fast as he can at me and there's no audio. Like, there's no argument here for like, well, that's the way it's intended. It is just objectively broken. Subjectively, you know, anecdotally, it feels like it's getting worse, but it's objectively broken, and it just has been for so long, and it goes through phases of maybe not as bad or whatever, but it just, I don't know that they know it's so bad, and I wish they did. Or at least admitted that it's bad. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's hard to know if he's just sick of like talking about it and he knows.
Yeah.
And there's or he doesn't know. It's impossible.
It's impossible
right?
to know.
Because every time, like the last fucking 3 times I brought something up to him that I was sure he knew, he was like surprised.
Yep.
Which is another problem altogether.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the audio. We'll blitz through the last 2 things because I'm just entering my mauled era. Performance, they're working on FPS performance stuff, adding the new culling system to all the maps, lobby performance. Then they're going to add, so they're adding in the summer is the patch that links Arena to Tarkov, but then in August after the wipe is when the patch that's going to bring the complete rework to the presets. So those are split into 2 patches. That's going to happen. In October, there's going to be some huge event and then another patch, another Tarkov patch with some quality of life updates. So wipe in August. In October, they're going to do another patch with some quality of life updates. Achievements. Some achievements will now also give permanent rewards. And he named specifically the Kill 100 times achievement will grant you the tracksuit permanently. So that the kind of stuff when they talked about achievements, we were like, this is low-hanging fruit. Will you do stuff like this? And then he talked about other achievements giving you like armbands or something like that. I think this one change will be pretty significant. I think it will give people a ton of stuff to do, like a ton of stuff to grind for. Like, I'll go achievement hunting now for the thing, for like an armband or for a cosmetic item or something like that. I won't right now because I don't care about just the sticker on my account. But if I can do a cosmetic, like, that's sick. Smooth zooming for optics is planned in the October patch. That's kind of cool. So your Voodoos, your Schmittenbenders, your your actual LPVOs, your 1x6s, your 1x8s, maybe even your like 3x12s or 3x24s, like the March Tactical might have value and use now, which would be kind of cool,
Yeah.
And then they're going to be adding the autumn season in October. Then he took to Twitter and actually went through and answered a bunch of the questions, because he was like, what are some questions you have for Tarkov TV? And he went through and he answered some of them. So someone asked about, will you improve the PvP experience? And he said they have some ideas for events that are like really like PvP focused kind of catalysts that, you don't have to do. Maybe it's on just one map or something. I asked those 3 questions that I read earlier and he read them. I said, will we be able to move or at least not be in our inventory and pack mags? And he was like, maybe, which I took as a no. I asked about, can we fix the smokes or update the smokes? And he said that needs the new visuals. So I also took that as a no. But then the grenade thing, he already said was planned. The, hold G and scroll wheel or whatever. Fountain rate and inertia are going to stay the same. Somebody asked about monetization. He said we have no plans to monetize Tarkov any further than just the cosmetics and the PvE.
Nikita 20.
Yeah, clip it.
Nikita 2017, Michael Scott. Nikita 2019, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Nikita 2024.
Yeah. Yep. Pinning cases in your stash is planned. Somebody asked, can we gain the ability to jump while in bushes again? Nikita looked at the camera, said no, and then just moved on. Continuous healing is planned. So we've been asking for that for literally ever. Just holding the Salua and then you heal up the arm, then the thorax, then the head, then that's going to be awesome. The last 2 big things is we were going to talk about this at the beginning. I was going to bring it up in the beginning when we were talking about arena and stuff like that, but he made it sound like they are finally going to make the change where you scav into a random map.
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody asked it, and dude, the chat went crazy because some people, like, that's a real 50-50 split. Some people love it, and dude, there were so many people like, I will quit the game.
The people who are scav mains got butthurt.
Yeah.
And everybody who actually plays the rest of the game.
Yeah. So they're doing kind of it like halfway. You will scav into a random map, but then once you reach max karma, you'll be able to choose, which will, I guess, incentivize those people that really prefer that to stay at max karma and maybe not shoot people in the face. But
they must have hired somebody new or something. Like,
yeah, I like that personally. I know there are some people are so mad that that debate gets so heated, but you still get the scav, you still get the free kit, you still get the free loot. It's just not only streets and lighthouse now. They're adding,
that should make the queue times faster, and it should make the distribution of scavs on maps more even.
100%. 100%. I cannot tell you the last time I ran into a player scav on customs.
Yeah, so like objectively, it's half the people like it, half the people don't like it. That balances the scales. I think objectively, those 2 things are an improvement, and I can't think of any other objective downsides.
Yeah,
I can think of subjective ones, right?
Yeah.
But so I think it's a W.
Yeah, I'm very much excited. Unique dog tags for EOD and unheard players. The prestige system is still planned for 1.0. They're still talking about DLCs, Scav Life, and Clan DLC for after. Kill Cam, he said I think we have a solution for kill cams, but that's all he said. So we don't have to go into that. We've talked about that a bazillion times. They said that they're going to rework spawns. That was another question I asked. And then, dude, this was crazy. He said open world is still planned. I don't know how he gets away saying that in 2024, dude. There's no way. There's no way, dude. Streets has been out.
Fucking joking.
Street.
You're joking!
Dude, Street.
No chance, bro.
Streets has been out for 18 months, and like 40% of the players still can't play it above like 30 frames. And he is saying on a podcast to 30,000 people that open world is still planned. It's taken them like 2 years to just like update the Unity version that they're on. So I'm starting to think that Star Citizen will be out before this game.
For the longest time, that was the thing that they said they were going to do way back in the day. No one really talked about it for a long, long time, right? And then like podcasts, people start getting involved and stuff, you know, whatever. Then like there was a period where he like hyped it up, kind of like as a possibility.
Yeah.
And then like a year went by, and he like the last time I remember, he matter of fact, he was like, "Nope, we're punting on that."
I thought he said that at some point too.
Dude, it's like legitimately this. It feels like a grift, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing. Like,
no, yeah.
I'm just saying that this is what it feels like when you're just constantly. You're like, yeah, we're gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. It's like that's what like.
Yeah.
People do when they're trying to like convince you. Oh God.
Yep. Dude,
it's like a bad relationship, right? Where the guy's not interested in you, and then you're like, I'm leaving. You're like, no, it's gonna work out, baby. And then like the next day, you're like, fuck it, I'm over you. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, no,
that's what it reminds me of.
For sure. So I don't know, man. Now, and someone pointed out in chat, I think he said, oh yeah, that's what he said. Somebody asked about open world, and he was like, open world is in Skyrim. I remember that. He was like, go play Skyrim if you want an open world. That was what he said. It was super dismissive of the question. Oh my God, I remember that. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because, God, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, to his credit, he said it's going to come after 1.0. But as we've said before, it seems like such a foundational part of the game that it coming after 1.0 is like weird, but then also nobody in their right mind thinks it could come out before 1.0. So I don't know, man. I am just as confused as you. But that is it. Like we said, very information dense. The TLDR is a lot happening to Arena. And the linking of Arena, even though I freaking very much so dislike Arena, what they're talking about seems pretty cool. They're very aware of how popular the PvE mode is, and they're working on that. They are giving some really interesting concessions or updates to things like the armor system. I'm super excited about that. The found and raid stuff. A lot of little quality of life things like disabling perception, polls coming into the game, and then patch 15 is going to be very interesting with the mortar strikes, the map-to-map travel, the bipods, the bracing, the new boss, the karma. So interesting stuff. Very dense podcast. A lot of information, but that's what's coming.
I mean, fat yikes with a capital Y.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they released a new update. So yeah, just to kind of like just to show how what they're doing is very interesting this year. In the past, they've just done like 1 or 2 big patches in the whole year. But so like they released a roadmap, which is preliminary roadmap. This is all subject to change. But in June, we're getting a patch for both EFT and Arena. And then later in June, we're getting another Arena patch. Then also in June, we're getting the Unity 2022 on ETS and a Tarkov patch. Then in June again, it says another Tarkov patch, and then another Tarkov patch, and then in July there's an Arena patch, and then in August is the wipe, and then in August is there's just like a ton of patches, like small ones in between now and the wipe, and interesting. So it's interesting how they're breaking it up into smaller patches this time around. But
yep. I got 10 codes for body cam.
Oh shoot! Did you really?
Yeah.
I haven't played that. I was watching somebody play it though.
It's I think like the beta or whatever starts like next week.
Yeah,
it's like a week from today.
Cool.
Let me know if you want to fucking try it out.
Yeah. Maybe. That's cool. I was watching like somebody play it today. I don't know.
Oh god, and oh god, I just opened myself up to 9 billion DMs.
Yeah,
Fuck.
you did.
I have 0 codes. Fuck.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Oh yeah, and then the last thing was they did immediately after the podcast ended, they started a new event where all of the bosses are on Shoreline. They're all in the resorts, including the goons, 100% spawn chance. And they reduced the cooldown for player scavving, and they made all the bosses except the goons friendly to scavs no matter what your karma is. Yeah, it's super weird. But and then
a hot mess.
And then they did a quest where you need to kill all the bosses. It doesn't have to be in one raid, but it's just like kill all the bosses, and you get a full set of Shoreline keys. It's the most rewards. It's 4 full lines of. You get a full set of Shoreline keys and a sick case and 50,000 XP for killing them all.
I mean, honestly, that's neat because, like, I'm sure.
Yeah, it
like,
is kind of neat.
I remember at this point in the wipe, Shoreline feeling dead for me.
So dead.
Back in the day, it's been a long time, so I don't know. But I remember Shoreline popping in the first few weeks.
Yep.
Honestly, the first couple months of, but once people get past those quests, it's like not where people go.
Yep.
They go there for farming on dead servers, not to fight,
This wipe, they did the Shoreline update. Like the whole Shoreline refactor came in this wipe that they did in December. I fell back in love with Shoreline. Dude, some of my highlight videos are almost exclusively Shoreline. It's so good. And something happened, 2-3 weeks ago, month ago, and it's just Deadsville now, and it makes me so sad because I love fighting in Shoreline. But now it's insanity because all of the bosses are there and the juicers are just coming out. But literally, like, if you don't want to participate in this event and you want free gear, just scav in, dude. All the bosses are friendly to you, and like every raid, you're finding a level 60 PMC dead on the floor that died to a boss that's unlooted. Like it's juiced. You're getting juiced. So yeah, that's the Tarkov shenanigans. Big wipe, big news.
My wipe.
Much excited. My wipe. So yeah, that's it.
I am tired.
Yeah. Well, how long have we been? Oh yeah, 212. And how long have you been live? 10 hours. 11 hours. Yeah, I feel you. Well, hey, that's the stuff. That's the skinny. That's the TLDR. That's the very long. That's the opposite of a TLDR. That's a 2-hour thing on what's going on in Tarkov and our thoughts about it. But thank you guys for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for caring. I am Walter. Do it. You know you want to.
I am Walter.
Thank you guys for being here. If you want more unhinged rants from us, you can go to patreon.com/thepogcastpod. You can get early and ad-free access to these videos, these episodes, and also additional content that we do over there just for you beautiful people. It's pretty cool. Thank you guys for hanging. And I can't think of anything else. So we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Classy, San Diego.